Today we'll discuss on agile leadership in higher education, maximizing income generation and innovation. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished panelists for this session. Our first panelist is the Honorable Datuk Professor IR Dr. Wahid bin Omar, Professor Amal Bakti UTM. He was formerly a Vice Chancellor of UTM. He had been working with UTM for almost 38 years and almost 20 years out of management and leadership roles. Our second panelist, Dr. 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗦 𝗔𝗧𝗑𝗏, currently a Vice President Technology Venture Fund of Malaysian Technology Development Corporation, MTDC. Her role are facilitating and financing the development of local technology-based companies and commercialization of new technologies. And our third finalist, Dr. 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗦 𝗔𝗧𝗑𝗏, an award winner on Product Commercialization and Innovation Award at the National Academy Award 2023. She is the lead researcher at Bioproduct Institute in UTM and also the founder for 𝗕𝗏𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗏 skincare products. And finally, our moderator for today will be the Honorable Professor Datuk Dr. 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗏 Muhammad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International, UMK. She has been regarded as an entrepreneur icon who has contributed a lot toward UMK achievement, especially driving UMK to become the #1 entrepreneurial university. She also the main backbone that enabled UMK to achieve accreditation from ACEEU. She also the main key person that helped UMK won the Institutional Entrepreneurial Category Award during the Ministry of Higher Education Entrepreneurial Awards 2021. Without further delay, please welcome all panelists and moderator to the stage.
Ikut gambar. Boleh. Mana kod ni ke kod ni? Bawah. Di sini. Oh gitu. Bahasa dah agak. Tahu-tahu orang Kelantan ni Datuk Azizi tak ada. Saya pula nak cakap Kelantan hari ni. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon to everyone. So I hope everyone had your lunch and be able to keep yourself alert. Because today we have 3 panelists, which is very difficult to get. And Alhamdulillah and thank you so much kerana Datuk Wahid dan juga 2 panel kita, Dr. 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗏 dan juga Dr. 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗡𝗦𝗏 be able to be with us today. So our topic that we are going to discuss today is about agile leadership. How do we need to change towards the current environment and the issue of financial sustainability? How should we innovate? Should we come up with solutions in order for us to be sustainable? Especially now, not just IPTS, but also IPTA is also having the same issues on money matters. So, Dato and both doctors, we are going to have 3 rounds. Okay, the first round, I would like to invite each one of the panels to to just share their experience, their knowledge, as well as all the challenges that you have faced in order to be, or in order to make whatever you have achieved now. Especially we would like to get some sharing session from Datuk, mantan Naib Chancellor UTM, which is, I could say, the pioneer when it comes to money generation. UTM lah. Dan Datuk adalah antara yang saya rasa pencetus kepada kejayaan UTM sekarang ni. Dr. Yusof, betul kan? Okay. Dan seterusnya juga kepada kedua ahli panel. So, Datuk, without further ado, I think, please, I would like you to just share with the audience the issue that we are currently having, the experience that you used to encounter when you were the Vice Chancellors, and what the innovative solutions that you have made to make your university, prior university, sustainable in terms of finance. Sila, Datuk, sila.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Terima kasih, thank you so much kepada Datuk Nik Mahiran as moderator, and to my adik-adik lah panelists, dan saya juga mengalu-alukan kehadiran semua peserta ke bengkel ini. Unless anyone cannot understand bahasa Melayu. Anyone? International tak ada ya?
Tak ada, tapi kita ada online live.
Oh, okay.
So we are also open to everybody, maybe outside Malaysia as well.
Okay, thank you so much Datuk for inviting me. Dan nervous sikit sebenarnya, I need notes to refer. Okay, with regard to financial sensibility and the challenges, I think this morning Datuk Azizi probably has explained the situation of financial sensibility in the higher institution. So my task today is within these 20 minutes. Datuk, please alert me on the timing. So I will touch on three items. One is the overall picture of financial sensibility, which probably Datuk Aziz has covered that this morning. And our experience in facing the budget cut, severe budget cut, I would say in 2016, especially for Reza University. And the third one in how we respond. Probably that will answer how we survive that period. Okay, on the overall picture of financial sensibility, I think probably Datuk Azizi had mentioned about financial sensibility. Basically, I think it's a very common to higher education institution. It's a worldwide phenomenon. So that's why I always said people want they want the high quality education, but they are not willing to pay the premium fee, for example, especially our public universities. They pay only 10% of the actual cost. And for example, this financial stability, as far as I can remember, I've retired. In UTM, we started to think about it back in 2008, 09, 010, probably when Datuk Zaini was appointed as VC. That's why we started our endowment. When he was appointed as VC, he appointed me to lead on the facilities management, on development, where we do a lot of, we check the way we spend our money. So the thinking of that financial stability already there. But the bombshell came in 2016. In 2016, when the government cut the budget, for RU, they give only 90% of our emolument and no funding for operation. Basically you have zero money to pay utilities, to cleaning, all the maintenance. So basically no fund allocated at that time. So when we faced that, actually they told us, MOI, AKEPT, this is according to the plan. They just give us 70% of our budget. So at that time, tak apa kan bercakap benda yang sensitif pun. At that time, actually, all RU, I can say, I can talk. I mean, I have intel information about RU because we are very close discussing this. We already raised about 25% to 30% of our operating budget already. Yeah, we raised about 25 to 30%. I think for UTM we raised about 28%. So we already raised 28%. Suddenly MOF cut our budget. Only 90% emolument and zero budget for maintenance. So at that time, 10% of budget cut, I mean for emolument, it's about, for UTM, it's about 45 million a year. So we pay emolument about 450 million. So 10% for 45 million and good maintenance, operating budget for university around 60 million. So 60 plus 45, we have to cover the shortfall of 100 million, more than 100 million. I mean, even people from the KPT at that time, as if that the government asked the university to raise that amount within that almost immediately. Suddenly they asked, okay, get the 150 million. So our board, so their response, our board, okay, we loan the money to pay emolument. We loan the money to, so board can easily say that. But as we say, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. So we have to plan our strategy. So that the overall. Now I come to then the number 2 today. I give the scenario. How much we have to raise, and now to the probably the thing that we want to listen this afternoon is how we manage that. So number 1, of course, we activate our survival mode. We have to survive. So I told people, I told UTM, we cannot just surrender like that. We cannot sit back and do nothing, wait for the money to come. On that part, I do that. We did that together with KSU. We met with Perbendaraan. I met personally with Menteri. We showed the figure. I told the Menteri at that time, Dr. Idris, see Menteri, you cut us 50%. Real term is the 50%, not 30%, because we already raised 30%. Now you ask us to raise another 20%, 50%. Okay, that's I mean part of our survival lah. So we have series of meeting dengan KPT, dengan MOF. So then the next thing is to revisit the way we spend our money. Kan? So what we did is first among the biggest thing we do is we terminate all our contract professor, our foreign staff. Immediately we terminate, okay? Because we cannot sustain at that time with all the terms. So what we did, we terminate immediately, we negotiate with them, so you come back with the new term. So then we appoint them on a yearly basis, not 2 years. So, and we forgo all the ganjaran. So that what happened. Then on the maintenance part, we terminate our contract, facilities management contract. We terminate all of them and reappoint them. That's why we got saman also, because and yeah, but only one company they saman us. So, but I think we won that, and because we terminate based on agreement. So then that comes the idea of DIY lah. We clean our own toilet. We clean our own classroom. We conduct, adalah Dr. Mariani kan, we conduct gotong royong to clean up. I mean to cover whatever the contractor supposed to do. And of course, that simple one. Kemudian apa lagi? We cut our traveling. I was probably the least travel VC, the low cost VC. I call me myself at that time. We forgo our entitlement. And apa nama lagi makan we pay on our own. We have meeting dia kata budget masa tu RM4 ke apa. Macam mana meeting JPU 5 jam RM4? So we raise our own money, our own pocket money. So we put RM100. So we spend that money until we finish that money, we collect again. So it's basically to survive on our own. That's yang kecil-kecil lah. Then we go on green practices. So actually we started that earlier. So we go on more aggressive, paperless lah, apa nama apa lagi, recycle lah, waste to wealth, which I think we now, and we do great. I think we succeed in energy management. So we won award, then we save apa nama electricity bill, and then we become more creative. For example, we look at the usage of our water supply dan sebagainya. Okay, then I learned how to manage money. So we establish a war room on financial management. Basically, you ada bendahari kat sini. So I told my bendahari, you are no longer working on balance sheet. Let the sheet, tak balance pun tak apa. We want the money. So I sit with them in the war room, but at that time then comes the idea that we invest in fact. So orang kata masa kering ni you kena invest. So we invest. So in fact tapi we scrutinize through the war room because I am the one who chair. Whatever project that comes in, I chair that meeting, we decide. Okay, we put money here, we put money there, especially on student facilities. Because we think long term, kan, after that we can attract student. We invested in Wi-Fi at that time. Masa susah tu kita invested in Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi become very, very important when COVID strike us. So when I ask student, can you survive in this campus? Yes, they get a good Wi-Fi for them. Okay, so that's what we did. And of course, new mindset of entrepreneurship. So I am not an entrepreneur, tapi kita belajar macam mana nak hidup. So basically, when we think of the entrepreneurial mindset, it's not about to making profit. No. Basically, what we do is we look at what asset do we have, what property for IP, for example, how much we have, which we can monetize it to generate income. And thinking of ROI, not only spend. Not only spending, kan? Dulu kita spend je, duit akan datang kan. Now, we spend this much, how much we can get. So, we think of return of our investment. So, I think basically, that entrepreneurial kan. Kemudian, expecting less and less allocation program. In fact, I got a slide, I told my team, kalau datang duit, that's bonus. Kalau tak datang, that's reality. So we have to work on that mode. Datuk, berapa minit lagi Datuk?
Boleh,
okay,
boleh.
Kan? Okay.
Masih.
Boleh?
Masih, ya.
Okay.
Teruskan.
Then asset. Kita tukar kita punya the way we manage our asset. Saya tarik semua asset yang di manage oleh HEP hostel. Hostel kita ambil, kita bawa under business. So bila dia bekerja under business, so they think of how much we spend for maintenance. What should we do to get this hostel if we can, for example, raise the fee, kan, increase the fee, kan. Jadi kita buat dan not easy. There was a resistance there because they are basically that's their territory, kan. And we invest in upgrading, yeah. And we then suddenly we know we have to review all the rental, kan. You know, before that 20-30 years kita tak pernah review our rental. Because we were in the comfort zone, kan. Semua benda yang boleh buat duit kita buat. Datuk Yusof kat sini kan, semua dia jual. Kapal terbang dia jual, air botol dia jual. Saya kata jangan jual PC je masa tu. Sebab that's the entrepreneurship yang kita dah develop. Dan of course Datuk, we went on private wing education.
Yeah.
So now suddenly came the idea, why don't we introduce public university private wing?
Okay, Dato'. We continue on that one. I think because that will be a specific topic that may be interesting. Okay? So we will stop there. All right. Okay, Dato'. Now we have Dr. Wan Raihana, which is nobody can dispute to say that MTDC have quite high contribution towards commercialization and also venture capital for university R&D. We know that, as a fund managing institution, there's a lot of opportunity actually that university can tap on. Because kita sebenarnya sebuah organisasi kerajaan. Tetapi bila dalam keadaan yang sebegini, kita masih tidak dilihat sebagai a potential institution that can contribute to innovation R&D of the country. So mungkin Dr. Wan Rahana can share a little bit how can the university tap on the facilities that MTDC has, and what have you been given previously to the universities? Sila.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Datuk Nik, for having me, and thank you for inviting me to AKEPT as well. Saya duduk atas ni mula-mula very nervous lah tengok dengan Datuk with his vast amount of experience dengan notes dan sebagainya lah. So bear with me, nervous sikit, but what I'm trying to hope to share with you is our experiences in terms of what we have done dekat MTDC. So let me give you a little bit of background dulu. MTDC tu, who are we and what we do. So if not heard about this before, Malaysian Technology Development Corporation is a wholly owned company by Khazanah National. So we're owned by Khazanah National, but we report to MOSTI, right? So we are under the purview of MOSTI basically. So we started out dah lama, 1992. Masa tu saya sekolah lagi lah. But what we used to do, what MTDC was established as, is a venture capital organization, which is specifically focusing at funding local technologies to be commercialized. All right. So we started off doing venture capital dan sebagainya, and along the way we evolved, and starting from Rancangan Malaysia Ke-7, if I'm not mistaken, our mandate was primarily to focus on helping universities, public funded R&D, so not specifically universities saja, but research institutes as well, assisting locally public funded R&D to be commercialized. So we did that for a very long time. If you are aware, kita dulu ada fund called Commercialization of Research and Development Fund, CRDF. Technology Acquisition Fund is another one, TAF. So it was through that mechanism, MTDC was the main agency yang memang bekerjasama dengan universities, sit together dengan researchers, fund the whole activity to bring all those research to market. All right. So that is our experience. And then as we move along, I think it was in 2019, kalau tak silap, 2019 or 2018, the ministry decided basically that mandate would shift to another organization. Commercialization of R&D shifted to another organization, which is Meranti, if you know. But MTDC continues in its efforts to fund commercialization. Cuma at this point, we don't specifically focus on university R&D. Kita focus on whatever R&D, as long as it's technology based, it is local, then kita akan bantu, we fund, we assist, and we guide. All right. So we have a lot of years of experience in helping companies, helping researchers to bring their technologies to the market. As I mentioned, kita started out as venture capital. So venture capital kerja dia bagi duit. Okay, so here you go, here's your money, jual product, all right? But when we started with that model, eventually MTDC realized that it's not enough. You can't just give somebody money and say, okay, you go to market, jual lah, I dah bagi you duit, you jual. It doesn't work that way, especially if we're talking about technologies yang very new, baru saja nak masuk market, unproven, untested technologies, right? So after that, we evolved, MTDC evolved, and realized that not only funding is necessary, but there must be a lot of hand-holding. Kita bantu, you have to teach, you have to guide, you have to facilitate. So dekat MTDC, while our main primary focus has always been funding and investment, what we do is not just that. Kita ada banyak, we have teams that do advisory services. So we sit down with entrepreneurs, researchers, any entrepreneurs really, and guide them throughout the financial planning process. How do they raise funds? How do you do marketing and things like that? Kita ada incubators. So we have 5 incubators dekat UTM, UITM, UPM, UKM, and also one in FRIM. Alright, so the incubators that we develop pun, the whole idea is that we are based inside the university, based inside the research institute, and to facilitate that interaction between the universities, the researchers, and the industry. Alright, so that's all the other things that we do. We also do a lot of training. because we also realize that, researchers kadang-kadang, they're academicians, right? So they know their technology, they're the experts, they know their product, back to front, inside out, everything they tahu, right? But whether or not they know how to commercialize it, whether or not they know how to market it, whether or not they know how to sell the product, and that's a different issue. So we have all these things that we support the researchers along the way, right? So in our years of experience, saya dekat MTDC been 10 years dekat MTDC so far, but all the legacy of us funding university R&D and things like that. One of the things that we realize is commercialization is not something that is easy. It's not that you can complete your research, you come out with a product in the lab, maybe you finish your PRGS and things like that, you have your prototype, okay, now jual. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot more effort that needs to be put in terms of developing the product, bringing it to market, regulatory issues, and then the whole issue of how do you sustain it as a business. So that's one of the things that we learned. Dekat MTDC, commercialization is not something that is easy, and it takes a very, very long time. Another thing that we've learned in that sense is that commercialization is not 100% success rate. It's a funnel. So you start off with a wide range of research, all sorts of projects coming out from all the different faculties, and then it gets through the process. It gets further development, you get your prototypes, and only a small percentage will successfully enter the market. And I know this is a challenge for most universities because you have your KPIs in terms of commercialization, the pressure to deliver something which can be brought to market, which generates revenue for the university is very, very strong, I understand. And you also need that success to get more research funding and things like that. So that's understandable, but we also want to highlight that, commercialization is not something that is easy to do. It's something that needs a lot of investment and a lot of support. So that's one of the things that we do at MTDC to help.
Okay, great. So mungkin selepas ni kita boleh tanya kalau ada ruang-ruang that MTDC can help, especially the young researchers, young lecturers, to get support in terms of funding. Okay, bersama kita juga ini kita ada award winners of AAN. Bagi tepukan sikit. Sebab dia masih panas. Jadi kita sangat bangga sebenarnya. People are talking about lecturer tak boleh meniaga. Engkau pandai mengajar je lah. So many universities when we request the board to approve our spin-off company, our startup company, they are reluctant to approve because they said, are you sure that they can be successful? Okay, so actually the reason behind why the spin-off company and startup company should be given to the researchers is to give them some rewards on whatever achievement that they have made through their research. Now, kita ada rakan kita yang berjaya. Because I know her quite sometimes, almost 5 years already, masih gah. Makin besar pula tu dia punya kilang. Kilang Dermax. Ini orang panggil Makcik Manggis. Dia namakan dia Makcik Manggis because Dermax is coming from the research of Manggis. Am I right? Jadi saya nak tanya, Doktor, what is actually the pushing and the pulling factors that make your success now? I'm sure Datuk Wahid senyum-senyum aja. Memang saya tak pernah jumpa jejaka semanis Datuk Wahid. I know that behind kejayaan Dr. Mariani mesti ada seseorang yang push that success. So how university or even yourself create this kind of opportunity for you to be who you are now? Maybe you can share with our young lecturers in front of us now.
Okay. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to everyone. So first of all, thank you Datuk for having me today and AKEPT. Actually saya rasa macam tak berapa I'm just starting jugalah sebenarnya. Tak berapa banyak experience, but I think insyaAllah saya cuba share journey of commercialization, starting from innovation and then until commercialization of our research product lah, right? So basically, this research or this product is part of my PhD study in South Korea from 2009 until 2012. Then I already completed all of the preclinical studies over there, including in vitro study, in vivo study, and up to the stage of the human efficacy study. And when I coming back to Malaysia in 2012, we have actually satu lagi stage during that time, which is the human efficacy study using local Malaysian face, skin dia lah. Sebab kadang-kadang bila kita buat kat sana tak sama dia punya kesan dia kan, due to the 4 season and everything. And then during that time, 2012 tu, I still remember back to Malaysia. So the first thing, my boss during that time, Professor Ramlan, Prof. Ramlan Abdul Aziz, he is one of the innovation and commercialization teams under ICC, Innovation of Commercialization Center in UTM. Masa tu Prof. Arham, kita punya pengarah ICC, but now Prof. Arham dekat UMK kan. So jadi balik je, lapor diri, and then my boss asked me to join the leaders in innovation di bawah SRI program during that time. Datuk masa tu kita banyak berapa, 4 juta ke habis bayar yang SRI ni. So saya balik-balik je macam kena pergi so tak apa pergi. So the first thing yang kami belajar during the boot camp, so is an elevator pitch during that time, a 1 minute pitching. So masuk lift, you pitch only 1 minute and then you can close. Tak kisahlah customer ke ataupun funder ke whoever kan. So masa tu memang sebab kita we are academician, lecturers. Memang kita boleh cakap panjang tapi kita tak boleh cakap pendek. Betul tak? So it's 1 minute is very very challenging and you need to cope everything in 1 minute. Kena ada needs dia. Masa tu kita guna NABC approach. So I believe that all of you pun memang very familiar kan dengan NABC. So kena ada needs, approach, benefit and kita punya competitor. So we need to wrap up everything in just 1 minute. So jadi kat situ banyak yang kami belajar actually. So selepas habis bootcamp tu seminggu, kita siap proposal untuk kita submit apply grant during that time dengan kita punya slide presentation untuk pitching sekali. So I think that was the kick off lah, start up lah actually in my experience in especially in innovation lah.
What year was that? 2012?
2012. 10 years back lah. Okay. So jadi lepas balik tu dan kami ramai waktu tu, so kita submit few proposal semua, alhamdulillah dapat grant untuk kita buat further R&D lah during that time. So jadi kat situ saya nampak peranan universiti tu sangat-sangat penting lah, especially in the development of who am I today lah. So jadi I believe that banyak lagi pensyarah lain pun yang memang bersetuju kita punya environment tu di universiti tu yang make it kita banyaklah yang kita catch up during that time. Sebab kalau tidak, kalau kita tak dihantar tu, sebab dalam universiti mungkin lebih kepada kalau kita nak pitching R&D grant lain, nak pitching untuk commercialization lain, nak pitching untuk awards, apa-apa saja competition lain. So jadi during that time 2012 dah habis and then kita buat another advocacy study. Guna human, kita dah apply for ethics everything and then kita passes that study. So jadi 2014 actually kita dah start buka ataupun develop our spin-off company dengan Prof. Ramlan lah. Prof. Ramlan, he is actually one of the board of director dalam kita punya spin-off company 2014. So 2014 tu kita start funding, seed fund from ICC UTM 20,000. So 20,000 tu mungkin tak banyak, tapi but it's really helpful lah untuk start up company macam kami kan. So we use that money 20,000 tu to develop first prototype product, which is the Max intensive brightening serum. Okay, so actually the Max ni is a unique name. It's a combination between Derm and Max. Derm is referred to skin and Max refer to mangosteen. Sebab kita punya produk ni memang mangosteen based. So we do the extraction process. We extract only alpha mangosteen and purify until reach 99% purity. And alpha mangosteen tu yang kita buat study. So we found that alpha mangosteen is actually a very potent antioxidant properties dekat dalam kulit manggis, and it possesses a very good apa ni kita panggil dia untuk mencerahkan kulit lah, skin lightening, sebab dia boleh inhibit tyrosine activity as well as inhibit ataupun reduce the melanin production. So melanin still ada, tapi is insufficient enough only, not too much, sebab kita tak nak banyak sangat sebab dia tak tahulah saya, tapi kalau dekat Malaysia ni everybody looking for a fresh skin kan, even dekat South Korea semua dah putih pun tapi dia orang memang sangat fanatik nak putih lagi. So jadi semua orang nak kulit cerah kan. So jadi we still have melanin because melanin is very important untuk protect kita punya DNA cell daripada damage due to the UV radiation and whatnot, right? So jadi on top of that, alpha mangosteen also can helps kita punya skin ni, fibroblast cell, untuk boost more collagen synthesis dalam skin. So that's why saya pun nampak 10 tahun muda kan. So so jadi that's why
sambil promote the Mac.
So jadi dia memang ni based on kita punya in vitro study, in vivo study dengan clinical study. So in vitro study apa yang kita dapat lepas kita buat treatment dengan alpha mangosteen ni, sel tikus dengan sel kulit manusia tu putih macam bleaching. So that is the first that was the first outcome lah yang kita dapat during the in vitro study. And then bila kita upgrade to in vivo study, and of course before that too we need to do kita punya cytotoxicity study lah, nak tengok dia punya range concentration which is not harmful to our skin cell. Okay, then in vivo study pun sama. In vivo study kita dia juga bagus untuk skin repair. Bila kita punch tikus tu, so kita dapat tengok dia punya healing activity tu memang sangat cepat berbanding dengan kita punya control lah. So jadi daripada situ masa saya final defense saya punya PhD. So actually ada yelah sebab mangosteen ni is kita punya khazanah kan. So kita makan mangosteen flesh but we throw away dia punya flesh, dia punya kulit tu kan, dia punya pericarp. But then we use that pericarp tu untuk buat further study, extraction and purification, and then the clinical evidence and so on. So masa habis tu kat sana, orang sana panel Korea lebih kurang 10 orang masa final viva tu. Mereka mostly daripada company. Sana banyak company masa viva. So jadi they are really interested to to collaborate with my supervisor to patent that mangosteen as a skin whitening agent lah untuk kosmetik. So jadi waktu tu memang ada sedikit masalah. So when I call my boss dekat Malaysia, program line, and then kita fight lah everything. So kita yang patentkan. So alhamdulillah habis saja study tu kita dah ada patent dah sebenarnya. Kita dah patent, kita dah ready. Actually waktu tu saya tak pernah terfikir yang saya akan pergi sejauh ini. So kita hanya sampai that level, we complete our PhD study and we coming back to Malaysia and that's it. Kita continue kita punya roles as academician lah. And tapi ada lebih daripada itulah. So
alhamdulillah.
So program line one of the biggest supporter lah, mentor for me, including Datuk sekali kat situ. He is really supportive lah. Mana-mana jumpa pun memang dia banyak kali datang IBD, jumpa kami semua dan buatlah apa yang you all suka, nak kaya ke apa ke kan. So tu dia punya words lah. So jadi
So bermakna memang role of the university is actually one of the factors that is assessed.
yes.
Okay, sebelum saya berikan Datuk, jangan dulu, sabar. I have a few more questions. Berapa banyak sebenarnya that you have contributed to the university from the business that you are running now? Ataupun you kaya seorang aja, universiti duk miskin gitu aja? Sebelum Datuk nanti menjawab untuk counter, banyak tak ada Max ni contribute kepada universiti after all the university has done to you?
Okay, saya jawab
Okay.
Okay.
Orang lain tak ada jawab.
Okay, jadi we started the spin-off in 2014 and then 2014 and lepas tu Prof Ramlan sakit 2015-2016 tu. And then kita dia withdraw daripada company and then kita buka satu company baru lah. Yang lama tu kita take out and then yang baru 2016 Biopro Cosmeceuticals Sdn Bhd. So actually first year, second year, third year, 3 tahun, first 3 years tu memang kita panggil is learning time lah for us. Masa tu memang tak nampak sinar, gelap je. So jadi very very difficult during that time. So kita banyak join exhibition university kan, macam-macam lah. Masa tu mahal dan sebagainya. Tapi I can say that approach tu tak menjadi sebenarnya. Tak sukses lah, tak nampak pun ada significant
Cahaya di depannya
tak nampak cahaya, tak nampak significant improvement lah of our company. So jadi 2016 kita start joint venture dengan one of our marketing partner. So masa tu kita nampak synergistic effect sebab kita tak boleh tamak sebenarnya. We cannot do everything sebenarnya. So jadi kita kena ada tahu limitation kita. So bila kita merge between this company and that company responsible for all marketing, selling, everything. Dan kita punya fokus on R&D and production. So 2016 kita menang super 500,000 and that was the turning point for us lah. We use that money 100% to build our first facility, GMP facility in UTM MTDC Technology Park lah, in incubator MTDC. So jadi daripada situ 2016 kita start hit kita punya first million sales kat situ, revenue. So jadi 2016, 2017, 18, 19 it was really shining lah kita punya sales, kita punya revenue tu alhamdulillah memang okey sangat. Daripada staff ada seorang dan naik sampai during that time 40 orang. Datuk pun pernah pergi visit kan kita punya dulu dekat MTDC. So jadi in terms of contribution, bila sebelum 3 tahun tu memang kita tak boleh nak returning back pun to university. And university punya policy memang different. Dekat UTM lain, dekat university lain, UMK I'm pretty sure you have your own guideline kan for spin off.
Ciplak yang UTM juga. Araham kat situ kan.
So you
The
university
best kita
lain.
ikut.
So jadi kita still kena bayar licensing fee which is 10,000 yearly. And royalty 5% based on kita punya revenue lah, kita punya sale daripada gross bukan daripada net. So kita punya tu kena bayar daripada gross. So jadi alhamdulillah bila kita dah start doing well, kita dah returning back to university. Kalau cash money dalam bentuk licensing fee, royalty, endowment, research contract lebih kurang 700,000. Dan selebihnya dalam bentuk in-kind, in terms of the guna sama, raw material, student datang, student master, student PhD, PSM, student final year, student datang guna ni kita tak ada charge for free. And they can use whatever raw material yang ada dekat kita punya factory and whatever equipment yang ada. Itu in-kind lebih kurang dalam 400,000. So all together amount about 1.11 million something lah,
Wah,
around that.
tahniah. Congratulations to UTM and also Dr. Mariani. Okay, sebelum saya pergi kepada Dr. Wan, back to Datuk untuk sedikit linkages lah. That's why kita ambil dua-dua daripada UTM ni. Ada sebabnya. Datuk, you are talking about investment tadi. And you are also talking about privatization yang I stop sekejap because I really needs to know your strategy on privatization. But let's look at on the investment part. Kita tahu yang the main contribution of income for higher learning institution is yuran. Okay? But yuran is insufficient to cover in, kalau ikutkan Datuk Azizi tadi, even operational cost kita. When it comes to investment, you are saying kita tak ada duit. The budget has been cut. But you as a VC at that time are spending certain amount of money for investment in order to get more. Because that is not everybody think the way you think. So what makes you think that in order to get more, you have to invest? Macam inilah, you are invest on the research that has been done. So kalau kita tengok dari sudut pendapatan, how much is actually that UTM at that time lah, even not now, earn from investment tu tadi, from spin-off company, commercialization and so on. And of course later on mungkin Datuk boleh add sedikit, the privatization yang sekarang ni kami dekat UMK pun is trying to imitate also many of the RUs punya strategy on income generation for university. Datuk.
Okay, sebab saya I'm a civil engineer, so duit ni tahulah mak kita ajar kan, pakai duit ni kena pandai-pandai pakai lah, kedekut dan sebagainya. Dan we know the way our besar think of, they tend to keep the money.
Dia macam tabung masjid,
Yeah, they tend to keep.
Lagi banyak duit dalam tabung tu yang berjaya.
Okay, sebenarnya sebab tu saya sampai sekarang saya always advise all leaders must learn. So siapa ajar saya? The one who teach me how to to manage financial at that time was our alumni. He was the founder of 𝗕𝗓𝗦𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏. He invited me to his office. We sit for 3 hours, 1-to-1. So then came all the ideas lah. Suddenly ada orang sebut, during this time you tak boleh simpan the money, you must spend the money. So of course we spend, we don't just spend for the sake of spending. That's why after we face that experience, we put the money where we can get good return. So good return, for example, Datuk, kita letak duit untuk, contohnya kita cari new market of student, international student. Kita pergi kepada negara yang tak ada student di UTM, we sponsor them. You see, the moment you put some money for them, actually duit tu tak pergi mana. The money will stay there tau. You kata, okay, you sponsor them academic fee, yuran pengajian.
Yeah.
The money tak bergerak. It's there. So we get student, then they spend some money for living. So that's where we generate, orang kata apa, new market, new student coming in. Then of course we invest in terms of our asset. Kan, we build our residency. The one I put my neck kan, sign the agreement for 180 million collateral using our land. So now alhamdulillah, I was told after COVID they're getting better. And Datuk, you mentioned tadi the last part, how creative we are in offering our private education, which we make money. Sorry tu, I don't know, hopefully NC tak marah saya lah. So for example, we offer our diploma at full fees. Tak ada orang buat at that time, sampai sekarang saya tak ada orang buat. So we park our diploma program. Okay, reason we park our diploma program under space, satu because kita RU, we don't want people to see us, takkan RU nak offer diploma. Okay, we pass it to UTM space and they manage it with full fee. Alhamdulillah, we still get student because our quality, the quality of our program, people trust. I was the diploma graduate after all. And then kita introduce yang tadi, on top of diploma, kita introduce international program. International program ni, international student bayar full fees. Bukannya 10% tau. They pay more but through space. And then international, kita panggil nama dia international program, sebenarnya the local also can enroll into that program. That's idea kita dapat through our board discussion. Board kata, ramai orang nak masuk public university, they cannot enter because dia punya result tu rendah sikit, tak boleh lepas. So we introduce another way for them to enter UTM and you pay premium fee. So that's where, then suddenly you become so excited. So then saya rasa kalau saya nak add sikit on how we support commercialization, betul lah. Saya selalu sebut leadership. So janganlah you jealous dengan anak buah yang kaya ni. Memang jadi VC saya pension lah kan. I think they have potential.
Tak pernah hit 1 million pun.
I mean, kita bercakap, when we talk about contribution to the nation, don't talk about contribution to UTM only. So they can contribute. For example, kan, saya rasa pergi di tempat dia, 40 workers, this is your contribution to the community. How to get people employed, kan, that 40 numbers kan, mana you support the economy. So kalau you can successful, you can make 1 million, then after like 100 million, 1 billion, go on. Kalau kata one day you decide I want to leave UTM, kalau saya, I will allow that. I will allow that because they make millions, which is, to me, this is the challenges lah kan. Kalau kita dah involved dengan commercialization, then you sacrifice kan on certain academic punya achievement. So that's where we depend lah. Individu can choose. Tapi salah satu polisi yang saya rasa kita buat masa tu dengan Datuk Fauzi was the TNCPI, kita allow our spin-off, satu licensing, royalty, we don't own the equity because that's against polisi dan sebagainya, but we allow them to have that spin-off. Kita charge licensing fee, kita charge royalty, then very small kan. In fact kalau tadi Datuk you sebut kan, still small lah. I think we need to work more on that. Contohnya kita dapat daripada kita punya, ni saya dapat letters dari pujuk-pujuk orang Mendari dia bagi saya. Contohnya untuk academic, we raise about 140 million academic income. Kalau yang space tu dia masuk dalam bentuk dividend lah kepada university. On commercialization, about 8 million. That commercialization. Tapi commercialization tu sebenarnya, ini 22 punya figure that commercialization tu sebenarnya yang datang daripada real commercialization of technology and licensing only 1.1 million. That's 2022. Yang lain tu datang daripada lab test. In fact, laboratory test pun lagi tinggi, dapat 2.2 million. 2.7 million laboratory test. So maknanya kita ada banyak potential. All in is about 6 million. Still small compared to the whole income yang kita dapat. Tapi I think there's a lot of potential. But again, kan tadi saya rasa spin-off yang masa saya tu 15 pun saya rasa sekadar bungkus juga kan. That where they hit the valley of death. Kan, kemungkinan the valley of SRI punya bottom tu kan. So hopefully they will learn and from there they will pick up again using, utilize their own product. So Datuk, that's my
Okay, I think we need a political will jugalah sebagai Naib Chancellor at that time to come out with these creative ideas on how to generate income and give opportunity to the staff, especially kena tap on jugalah potential staff yang ada. Thank you Datuk. Okay, I have more question, don't worry. Untuk Dr. Wan Raihana, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if the information that I've got is not the real one. So MTDC have been into the university, especially UPM, UTM, UITM. And people are saying that it's a failure. People are saying that, contohnya, I used to involve in one project, symbiosis. So the target that we put in is not impactful enough to achieve as what we aim. What is your comment? You agree or you disagree? Or what is actually your comment on that?
Very interesting question, Dato'. Very scary question sebenarnya. But yes, I will definitely answer that. To me, whether or not it's a success or failure, it first depends on what your definition is of success, right? So taking, for example, Symbiosis program. And for those of you yang tak familiar with Symbiosis program was a program that we did with many universities, probably until 2015 or 2016 macam tu. So the idea was we wanted to increase the rate of commercialization by the public universities by identifying good research projects coming out of the university. Lepas tu, together with that, what we would do is we identify university students yang have entrepreneurial tendencies. Dia berminat nak jadi entrepreneur. So we put them through a program, train them on entrepreneurship, financial, marketing, all that things, and then kita match. So the student who is now after going through the training berkelayakanlah menjadi CEO, kita match dengan the university technology, and then the idea is we give them money and then they would go to market and successfully commercialize the program. So if you ask me whether the program was a success or not, I would say yes and no. Okay, because if going into that technology, going into that program, the expectation is, okay, X amount of technologies commercialized, and if you want to define it like that, X amount of revenue generated from the programs, then tak cantik lah figures dia. I can say that, okay? Because tak banyak yang successful, tak adalah banyak revenue yang generated, tak adalah success stories that we can say unicorn, public listed company dan sebagainya. Okay, so I can agree with that. If you're looking at it in that sense, then yes, failure. Okay, but I don't think it's a failure because you have to understand again the process of commercialization, right? So we're looking at technologies that are very, very early stage, all right? And if I can just refer balik to Dr. Mariani's story, kan started in 2000, berapa Dr. You just started out your technology, 2012? Yes, okay. So 2012, and then now 2023, 10 years later pun, barulah you can see a lot of success on terms of Dr. Mariani. It's a long process. So if the expectation was you're going to match technology to an entrepreneur, dia pergi jual, then dia terus dapat that success, then it's not going to happen. But if we look at the program in terms of how many technologies coming out from the university were actually brought to market, at least validated in terms of the market demand, the numbers of entrepreneurs that we actually developed, who then, a lot of those, while the actual business did not succeed, they then went on and did other businesses. All right. So I actually wanted to share with you, I'll share with you one example on the Symbiosis program. So one of our companies from a local university, the students from the university, the technologists from the university as well, they brought this technology to the market. And because it's a medical device kind of technology, it takes so long, right? So the Symbiosis program, say, was in 2016, all the way up until now. How many years? 10 years maybe? Belum lagi ada revenue, belum lagi dapat sales, right? But are they a failure? No, because they have done the clinical trials. They are now doing phase 3 clinical trials, and they will enter the market very soon. And this company was also highlighted as one of the companies driving our National Industry Master Plan, one of the champion companies as well. So what I'm trying to say is, again, commercialization is not something that is a quick win. It's something that can happen overnight, right? So the perception, I think, needs to change not only on the university side, but also on the government side, on the researcher side, the entrepreneur side, that it's a long process. It's a very challenging process, but I'm not saying it can't be possible. And I think one of the things, metrics that we measure that success definitely has to change.
Okay, all right. But initiative that MTDC has been done to university, I think should be given a big applause. Thank you, MTDC. Okay, before I open to the audience, last question to Dr. Mariani. What makes you still stay in the university until now? You are now an entrepreneur. Dah setanding dengan Dr. Vida dah, Datuk Vida dah rasanya ni. Kan? Kalau nak lawan dengan founder-founder kat luar sana tu, saya rasa dah, up to that level. What make you still stay at university and be a lecturer? Do you have any thinking of leaving?
Okay, tak nak jawab soalan ni. So actually, I want to contributing back to the society lah, especially to UTM. Sebab saya bermula di UTM, so I started with my first degree dekat UTM, my master degree pun di UTM, keluar PhD di South Korea, and coming back serve as academician in UTM. And UTM kita dah ada makmal sendiri, kita develop, and then student daripada undergrad ramai, master student ramai, PhD pun until now dah ada lebih kurang 12 yang dah graduated. So jadi kita rasa academician ni dah sebati dengan jiwa kita. So kita nak berkongsi ilmu, nak berkongsi pengetahuan, research everything. And yeah, orang kata DNA UTM tu dah melekat. Dah tebal. Ada juga universiti lain for the time being lah kan yang offer, tapi saya stick to UTM juga sebab walaupun kita dah berpindah, kita punya HQ ke KL, kita alhamdulillah before COVID kita dah beli bangunan sendiri di Sri Rampai Business Park, 4 tingkat. So jadi dan kita mula berpindah sepenuhnya lepas COVID 2021. So kita berpindah, tapi saya berulang-alik daripada Johor ke KL. So my schedule for class, so this semester saya ajar 3 subjek, 9 kredit. So jadi Ahad, Isnin, Selasa, Rabu di Johor Bahru, and biasanya Wednesday afternoon after classes I akan rushing back to KL lah. So I ada one day for spin off untuk exemption lah, UTM bagi 1 hari. So for spin off ataupun start up company, so kita kena isi borang lah. So jadi kita buat declaration how much time you want to spend for your company, tapi tak lebih daripada 1 hari. So saya pilih hari Khamis. So Thursday, Friday and Saturday memang bekerja lah sepanjang minggu. So hari weekend pun di HQ. So jadi kat situ memang susah, tapi macam Datuk tanya tadi, sebab jiwa kita tu dah sebati kat situ. So kita rasa kita walaupun penat tapi kita suka. So apa yang kita suka tu bila kita buat kita tak akan rasa penat sebenarnya. Walaupun penat tapi you boleh, orang kata pejam mata sebenarnya. So jadi itu yang drive saya lah. I want to contributing back to university lah, especially UTM. Okay.
Alhamdulillah. Susah nak cari orang macam Dr. Mariani. So you must love your work, you must love what you are doing, then only you tak akan rasa penat. So that's why some people says what your brain thinks is where your energy goes. Okay, saya buka kepada audience jika ada soalan. Jangan risau, ini mantan VC. Kalau daripada UTM nak tanya, hentam sajalah. Dia tak boleh buat apa dah. Sila. Begitu juga dengan rakan-rakan doktor kita ni. He will answer on behalf if you want to learn from them. Sila. Ada soalan daripada audience? Tak ada soalan? Ni mesti sebab boring Tak ada soalan? Okay, tak apa. Tak panas lagi, Datuk. I would like to ask you question. Okay, saya suka bila saya tengok. Sebenarnya UTM ni adalah role model kepada banyak universiti lah. Tambah-tambah pula bila Dr. Mariani dapat AAN dan sebagainya. Dan banyak juga polisi-polisi yang kita ciplak dan kita tambah baik diambil daripada UTM. Jadi nasihat Datuk lah kan. I know that being a top management or being a vice chancellor, political will alone will not be able to make a university successful. We need to have awak-awak kita yang ada entrepreneurial mindset, yang wants to drive together with the top management. How do you make your people, I could say when you become a leader, to believe in you and grow the university together with you? Daripada hati dan jiwa. Tak ada dalam buku, tak payah tengok yang skrip tu.
Saya tak ada jawapan dalam ni. Okay, Datuk. yalah, as a retired person, mungkin saya boleh cakap lebih sikit lah. It's hard. I think kalau tanya any leader, the most difficult task is to get people to believe in you, to move with you, and probably to sacrifice for the organization. So kami ni, I think we were very lucky because we inherited yang Dr. Maria ni sebut tadi, DNA UTM. Saya rasa bila we mention about DNA UTM, people will be cemburu dekat kita. Apa maksud DNA UTM? Because we inherit, I think we throughout our history kan, dah 50 tahun. I think our founders lah, I can say, and after that the leaders, I think they work for UTM. They work for UTM, and I think they have been, all leaders very.
Apa tak ialah UTM? UTM di hatiku ke cintai UTM? Tak ada.
Kita ada the original one is kerana Tuhan untuk manusia.
Ah.
Now Datuk Fauzi, the new management, they have this innovating solution. I think that's combined tu very powerful. So kerana Tuhan manusia ni, maknanya basically you do it for who? That's why bila kita face these financial challenges gitu, we ask people to give money to UTM. I mean they cut their salary even RM1 kan, Dr. Yu, sebab kita tak ada cost kan. Bila kita buat internal deduction, bendahari tak charge apa-apa, so RM1 pun we accept. So people give their money, drivers apa semua. So sebab itu, dan I mean they love UTM lah. I think they love UTM ni because macam Dr. Maria ni sebut lah tadi kan, we want to contribute. UTM is the vehicle to do something good for the nation. And I told them, contohnya kan, kita ni ada satu vision yang besar. So, vision kita apa? UTM punya vision and mission, kalau kita make it just a short one, is we call it, we want to prospering lives. Mensejahterakan kehidupan masyarakat. So kita gunakan ini to the fullest. So anything kita buat, kita kata we want to contribute to the nation. And UTM, saya selalu sebut, is not a small name though in higher education in Malaysia. So our history, our contribution has been very, very significant. So, and we have to continue to do that with the new opportunity. Contohnya bila comes to commercialization, okay, bagi saya leaders must, okay lah Datuk sebab you tanya about leadership kan. To me, leader satu, dia kena berani. Kedua, kena ambil risk. Yang ketiga, kena bagi all the opportunities. You have to create that opportunities for others to succeed. Dan kalau kita start control, ni Dr. Maria ni jadi millionaire, bagi. So then you basically you destroy the ecosystem. To me lah, itu saya mungkin personal thinking. Because saya tak ada apa yang saya boleh bagi kan. I am not good in research, so maknanya tak sama macam mungkin Datuk Fauzi sekarang. So what I can do is to mobilize people. That's why kita gunakan that basically you communicate with people lah. You tell them the importance of our organization, the importance of our vision and mission, and the opportunity that we can provide. Polisi yang kita sebut tadi tu, tak ada at that time, tak ada universiti berani buat because they said this is against GO. But we did it. Saya dengan Dr. Fauzi, we did it. Allow our spin-off setahun cuti. Betul, Dr. Marini? 2 years. Setahun ke 2 tahun? Maximum 2 tahun. We allow them to nurture their spin-off. Mana ada universiti at that time berani buat? I mean, saya tak nak sebut nama lah kan. Among the... Yalah, of course. But you are free from academic work to nurture your company. Which at that time ada among BC yang pernah duduk dekat atas tu kata, you UTM, kenapa you buat ni? This against GO. We did it. Kita bukan buat sembrono kan, kita tahu the risk. So we manage that risk. So benda-benda macam ni bagi saya, dan so another point lah yang saya selalu fikir kan, salah satu daripada fungsi universiti contribute to economy, to create entrepreneurs, yang kita perlukan sangat-sangat. Kan kita tahu kan, dia ni boleh macam-macam company kat luar boleh, tapi bila kita ada opportunity, so saya we should contribute ataupun should support that initiative to lift up at least orang kata ekonomi orang mana juga, Bumi Putera kan, because we are the one who invent kan. So kenapa kita nak stop dekat research, kenapa kita nak stop dekat publication? So if there is opportunity dan kita boleh buat, kita buat lah. Of course ada risk dan sebagainya. We manage that. Itu Datuk, saya rasa mungkin sikit-sikit pengalaman saya.
Yeah. So saya boleh nampak yang Datuk is actually manage with altruistic empathy, because you buy in people through transparency, communicating and so on. I can tell from there. Probably kita boleh learn lah kan cara Datuk dan sebagainya. Dr. Wan, just now you are saying that going into commercialization is not an easy way. And definitely you have received quite a lot of proposals coming from the university, coming from the industry, asking for funds since you are the venture capitalist. Maybe you can share with the young researchers kat sini, young lecturers, what are the strategy that, you know, whatever products, prototype they have, be able to go into the market. Itu satu. Yang pertama, I know that you have already experience on looking at proposals and so on. So what is your advice to them, the proposals that you are looking into that probably get impact and able to go and be commercialized and accepted by the market? Silakan.
Thank you for the question, Dr. Nick. This is memang something that is my bread and butter lah. We memang at MTDC, that's one of the main things we've done. And I think probably in my 8-9 years doing funding, I've seen probably 300-400 applications, not only from universities lah, but also any type of technology just entering the market. So for researchers specifically, my main advice to you is, when you are doing the research, all right? Not when you've dah siap your research, you have a prototype, you know, but at the very, very early stage, masa baru nak develop your research proposal pun, all right? If you are serious about bringing a product to the market, you know, we're not talking about fundamental research type of thing where you contribute to knowledge, but I'm talking about applied research where eventually that research will be translated into a product that will enter the market. So what I'm saying is, awal-awal lagi dah develop the research proposal, already start to think who is my customer and who will buy the product. Because if you wait until you dah siap your research, you have a product, baru nak fikir who this customer is, who am I going to approach, who am I going to sell to, you're going to have a very big problem. Because it's too late. Your product dah siap, you may not have something that the market wants. All right? Because if we're talking about commercialization, it's a very simple formula. If you have something that a customer is willing to pay for, then you are successful at commercialization, right? Okay, so how do you know what is successful? Very simple. Look at your identify your customer first. Lepas tu, identify what we call customer pain. Alright, so pain is very simple. I mean, kita semua pernah sakit gigi. For the ladies, you've gone through childbirth, right? Pain is a horrible, horrible thing. And you would pay people, you know, large sum of monies to take away your pain. It's the same thing for your customers. If they have a problem or a challenge or a need, and they have that issue, and you have something that fits perfectly within that need or pain or issue that they're facing, then they will pay you for it. No answers about it. No worries about it. Okay? So always structure your research, always structure your product, your development, your R&D towards that end, if you want to bring a product to the market. All right. Next, I would like to give maybe a little bit of sharing in terms of how do you get your product through the market, the process. Yeah. Sebab, okay, fine. In the early stages, dekat research, you probably have seed funds from the universities. Banyak universities sekarang, I think that's a very good thing. Bagi seed fund to do prototype development, even early stage market validation. 5-10 years ago, tak ada funding macam ni. So I do see the universities are being really great in supporting this kind of development towards commercialization. That's a good thing. So at that stage, tak apa. If you're focused very much on the technical aspects of your research and you think like a researcher, excellent. But once you start going out to agencies, not just MTDC, but katalah Cradle, Meranti, even Mosti punya productization grants, dia punya product development grants, you need to start thinking entrepreneurially. Not so much as a researcher anymore, but start thinking about things like where's the market demand? How are you going to market the product? Who is going to do the marketing? How are you going to run the business? Or how are you going to work with your customers? It has to be that kind of proposal. You have to start speaking that kind of language. So banyak, unfortunately, researchers coming to MTDC, they pitch memang detail lah. Dia cerita lah pasal how many medals dapat dekat ITEX, berapa banyak publications and all that. And I'm not saying that's not important. That is important, that's your hard work and it's very, very significant. But unfortunately, if we're talking about funding for commercialization, kita tak tengok tu. Kita akan tengok what's the market potential, again, what is the customer needs and things like that. Alright, so that switch in mindset is very important, especially when you start going, for example, TRL 6 and above, you need to start thinking in those terminologies rather than the more very research-oriented things. Also, last, Dato', if you can, one more thing is go out there and start to network. Okay, jangan kita as researcher just stay within your research areas, your research conferences, academic conferences. If you're doing commercialization, kena keluar. Pergi trade shows, pergi all the exhibitions yang commercially oriented, and then talk to agencies. Datanglah MTDC, datanglah all the agencies. We're very friendly. Even if you're not at the stage where we can fund you, it's okay. We will give you advice, we will guide you, or we can even link you up. But we know who's the players out there, where the funding is, where the support is. We can always, push you or direct you into the right direction. So sebenarnya there is a lot, I think, of support for commercialization, for bringing products to the market. You just need to know where to look, and inshallah, it is something that is very, very extensive available for researchers in terms of the support, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wan. Ada siapa yang sudah terfikir nak tanya? Okay, sila. Kita ada soalan daripada, mungkin boleh perkenalkan nama, daripada universiti mana, dan soalan nak ditujukan kepada siapa?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Zalifah daripada Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Saya ada persamaan dengan Dato' Wahid. Sebab dia bekas Naib Chancellor, saya bekas bendahari. Dan saya jadi bendahari ketika keadaan yang sama hit us very hard, iaitu daripada 2014 ke 2021. Apa yang UTM buat, kita juga buat dekat UMS, tapi mungkin because we are being comprehensive university, kita punya pendekatan dan kita punya income lain itu berbeza dengan UTM. Ada satu soalan yang saya nak tanya kepada Datuk lah. Since Datuk pun dah jadi macam saya, we are from outside looking in, kan? Adakah keadaan sekarang ini membantu kita untuk membuat decision yang macam kalau Datuk cakap tadi, Datuk dengan your TNC, you are doing against the rules, okay? Itu pada masa itu. Tapi sepatutnya saya rasa sekarang environment dia sepatutnya lebih memberi ruang dan opportunity kepada universiti awam itu untuk lebih berani. Jadi adakah Datuk rasa situasi sekarang ini berlaku di universiti awam? Sekian Datuk. Itu saja soalan saya.
Okay, terima kasih. Minta maaf saya tadi sebut bendahari is no longer a balance sheet business kan. Saya sebenarnya macam ni, tadi saya nak betulkan dulu, I don't think we go against any policy, saya pun tak berani buat. But I think that one dia interpretation of GO. So masing-masing ada interpretation, we feel that we interpreted it safely, quite safely lah. So kita pun tak berani, kalau tidak dicari sampai sekarang tu, walaupun you dah mention.
Pakai baju oren. Pakai baju oren, silap-silap.
Memang saya sampai sekarang kan tak sedap duduk juga bila barunya jumpa audit juga ATM lah apa kan. Sometimes you cannot, macam saya nak pension hari tu. The moment saya dapat surat pengesahan GPA, alhamdulillah. Sebab you did so many things, estate lah, apa lah kan, macam-macam you buat. Okay, back to saya macam mana lah Datuk. Saya rasa we have to be competent. Itu masalah kita. Sebab tu bila dia jumpa banyak contoh we need kita talk generally kan about income generation, business. Saya rasa certain facts tu doesn't support us. Contoh bila audit baru ni kan kena mok sebiji universiti ni kata buang they wasted their money, invested sampai kita pun tak tahu. Ini yang menyebabkan kita jadi serba salah. Saya tak boleh blame the KPT, tak boleh blame the MOF because ada benda yang kita buat tak betul. So saya rasa kalau nak buat betul-betul, kita kena competent dulu. Convincekan MOF. Contoh bila kami buat residency. Kita buat residency, kita bukan buat seorang-seorang tau. We utilize our board. Then salah satu daripada syarat untuk buat projek macam tu, you have to go to UKAS. So we bypass UKAS.
Itu dah langgar.
But we do it very calculatively lah. Maksudnya contoh saya consult one board member Datuk, saya kata kita tak nak pergi UKAS. Okay? Nampak? Kita ada support. So benda-benda macam ni kadang-kadang kita macam mana? Kita tak cermat tau. So at the end of the day, kita memang dapat kelulusan MOF, kita memang dapat kelulusan KPT bertulis. Sebab tu kita berani proceed dengan loan. Walaupun loan itu pun, bila kita dapat loan dan bila dia tengok UTM ni menggelupur lebih sikit pada RU lain, dia kata, you teruk sebab you ambil loan. No, saya kata sampai sekarang saya argue lagi dengan taman. Kan? It's not because we took that loan. Because memang financially kita rasa we have been treated quite unfairly. Saya guna macam tu lah. So sebab bagi saya, apa-apa pun yang berlaku di IPTA sekarang, first saya rasa kita kena betulkan kita dulu. We have to correct ourselves. We have to show to them we are competent to do it because at the end of the day, yang dia marah sangat kita buat ni, at the end of the day dia kena bayar. Kan contohnya dia we belong to them. Mana boleh dia lari kalau kata kita kena saman. Of course lah ada BC mungkin kena kan. Tapi balik kepada kita lah. Datuk, saya masih sampai hari ni saya kata kita yang kadang-kadang menyebabkan orang tak percaya dengan kita. Rekod yang saya ada 2020 kita UTM kita raise the highest income from our business entity. Highest income. Yalah, how much memang tak banyak lah. Tapi we managed to get our business entity to give back out the money to us. You check semua universiti awam, banyak business entity dia yang boleh bagi balik duit pada universiti. That's a very sad fact to me lah. Kan tak semua yang berjaya. Banyak isu lah. Saya tak naklah discuss kat sini. Tapi maksud saya, yes, we need to earn trust from MOF, earn trust from KPT, earn trust from our board. Make sure our board also highly integrity people to manage all this kind of business. Kita nampaklah certain benda sebenarnya kita nak kata apa kan, kadang sana pun silap, sini pun silap. Tapi balik kepada saya rasa how we can manage our own capability that people can trust us. Of course lah masa kita buat residency kita ada big backup because Datuk Zaini I have to acknowledge dia dekat sana kan. Tapi internally kita buat very orang kata apa prudent. Kita gunakan our board, kita make sure macam saya tak pergi UKAS, bukan saya sonok tak pergi UKAS, I check with one board member dan macam tu lah. Kerana nak play around tu you need something lah kot. Bukan hari ni lah nak bincang.
Tapi the belief in yourself as a leader at that time actually make you make that decision probably. Kepercayaan kepada diri sendiri yang mengatakan what I'm doing is for the best of the organisation. So that I think. Okay. Puan Zalifah, okay. So any question lagi? Ada soalan daripada audience? Okay. Perkenalkan nama dan daripada mana?
Nama saya Muhammad Fahmi bin Abdul Ghafir. Saya daripada Asia Aeronautical College. It is a very new college. We are a flying school. Actually got approval from the Ministry of Higher Education. So it's just that my question is, when somebody come to you or your members, team members are coming to you with saying that this is a very good project, I think this will basically helps the company to move from one state to another stage now. What sort of risk management that we need to do to make sure that the claims are correct? Thank you.
You become very academic. Yes, bagi example lah. Example bila kita manage lah, successfully build our residency. So it went through a very long process. We check our cash flow, we check our kita punya projection of student, kan kadang-kadang berdebate tak habis-habis, ada yang tak setuju, ada yang setuju. So at the end of the day kita kena decide, kan? So saya rasa that kind of very, orang kata apa, you do it macam Datuk kata lah, you do it for not for me. Kalau saya nampak ni saya dapat something, then your decision will be different. But if you think that this is for UTM, so walaupun saya tak ada di UTM, orang nak kena bayar hutang, that's why saya pegang kepada accountability. So saya declare to my board before saya leave university, saya kata I am still accountable. Come back to me if anything that I did when I was a VC something wrong. Saya masih declare that. So the accountability kita tak boleh lari. We are not responsible. I'm no longer responsible, but I am still accountable for whatever decision yang saya buat ketika itu yang sekarang ni ada masalah. So I think that level of accountability make you very, orang kata apa, cermat lah, kan. Dan kita kena mengaku lah Datuk, kan kita tak pandai dealing. Business people they are very smart. So contohnya agreement, read between the line sampai ujung, sampai habis. UTM ada case. Kita sign satu agreement, kita tak baca sampai habis. Kita nak terminate the agreement ni, business people come to us. Bila kita tak baca sampai habis, somebody pergi sign agreement tu, alhamdulillah bukan saya sign. So saya sign langsung tak boleh jawab lah kan. Because somebody sign, I can fight to the board. Betulkan balik. So bawah sekali tu, dia ada tulis, kalau UTM terminate dia, kita kena bayar dia punya income for 20 years. Sebab kita agree 20 years contract.
Ayo.
That kind of risk yang kita kadang tak aware, especially business people. Saya sebab tu kadang-kadang dengan orang business ni, saya declare terang-terang, saya so sorry sir, I'm not good in business. When you work with me, please be, honest. Saya declare macam tu openly, be honest. Sebab tu masa dengan project residency, to deal contractor kan, kan, contractor ni memang con lah. Dia akan cut corners dan sebagainya. So we declare on set. Kita duduk dengan board kita, ada satu board kita declare this project for student for UTM. So saya harap you jangan tipu kami, jangan cut corners dengan kami. So kita declare on set, kita make partners with them. So that's one approach lah yang kita buat. So kita tahu kalau kita nak construction ni, saya manage 1 billion project before I became VC, development project kan. So we went through that pain and sweat and tears kan. So kita declare on set, kita kata this is UTM, kalau you buat baik projek ni untuk UTM, we will acknowledge you, we will recognize you. Tapi kalau you nak cuba-cuba cut corner sana sini, kami memang tak mampu nak tengok semua benda. So that kind of honest, cuba to be honest, yang kata on set lah. Itu nampak macam tak cerdik sangat kan, tapi kita janganlah tak cerdik sangat kan? Nampak macam kita mengalah ataupun kita cuba. Tapi we are very hard on that. We are very hard to get that project on.
Okay. Get the answer. Alright. Okay, kita ni towards the last round. Dr. Mariani, maybe ada nasihat-nasihat yang Dr. Mariani nak share to our audience, our young one, how to become like you. Macam tadi Datuk sebut, there are certain things that need to be sacrificed if you want A. You cannot get everything. So saya nampak your PhD is since 2012, but you are still not looking much on the academic path, but you are looking more on the commercialization path. Tapi kita tengok tak ramai yang nak jadi macam Dr. Mariani kerana pensyarah-pensyarah muda kita ni lebih ke arah nak naik pangkat. Sometimes 3 years PhD, dapat 51, tak sampai 2 tahun terus nak mohon associate professor for example. So now what is your advice to the young one if they wants to become successful in whatever lah, cara Dr. Mariani ke ataupun cara whatever. So probably
Okay.
you can share.
Thank you, Datuk. Betul lah cakap Datuk tadi, you are right. Sampai sekarang pun saya belum ada AP, Associate Professor. Actually I didn't apply pun sampai sekarang. So people always lah keep asking me, kenapa tak naik pangkat lagi, kenapa tak naik pangkat lagi after all contributions, and kita punya commercialization tu counted in Myra marks kan, and then publication pun ada, research pun ada, research contract pun ada,
PhD student pun ada.
tapi tak apply. So jadi actually yalah, first tu nak apply tu kita kena give full of commitment lah. So nak apply tu bukan mudah. Saya tengok dia punya apa, tak tahulah kan, dia punya penuh tu berapa file nak kena hantar kan. So jadi saya rasa saya belum boleh commit lagi until now. So frankly speaking lah, sebab I think I have so many things to do, especially in company management lah. So until now kita macam tadi saya cakap, kita buat apa yang kita suka. So jiwa memang academician dan I masih teaching everything. Cuma untuk kenaikan pangkat tu slowly lah. So insyaAllah soon, sekarang ni KJ pun dah push juga. So insyaAllah next semester saya akan cuti latihan ikhtisas untuk buat attachment to company, and akan apply IR dululah. So after IR tu, bila nak submit report tu, I akan completekan sekali untuk AP insyaAllah. Doakan. So susah nak cakap ni sebab benda ni takes a lot of effort and time jugalah. So in terms of the commercialization, what I can say is apa saya punya advice ni, kebanyakan academician ni kita selalu takut. Kita rasa macam limit kita setakat tu saja. Kita tak tahu sebenarnya kita boleh push over the limit sebab kita tak kena pressure kan. So bila kita tak ada pressure, contohlah macam kita tak boleh berlari tapi tiba-tiba ada singa kat tepi kita kan. Of course kita masa tu insyaAllah kita akan lari sangat laju. Tapi kalau tak ada orang push kita, kita tak tahu pun kita punya capability and kita punya talent tu setakat mana. So that's why kita kena explore whatever yang mungkin kita tak tahu setakat hari ni lah. For example, if you have a very good research finding, you dah patentkan, you dah ada publication, you dah ada awards, recognition, local and international whatever kan. So sangat merugikan jika you tak push for your research to be used ataupun to be acknowledged for other people outside. Orang tak tahu pun. So you setakat tu, and then grant research mungkin dah banyak kan, habis, tapi benda tu tak ke mana. Masih simpan dekat dalam makmal. So that's why gunakan peluang yang ada ni, sebab setakat hari ni saya rasa universiti sendiri ada seed fund kan, banyak. And then agensi dekat luar pun banyak, macam Dr. Rahina sebut tadi, kita ada Emranti, kita ada SME pun ada dekat luar, and then MTDC lagi banyak peluang yang ada boleh jumpa. Sekarang ni Mosti pun ada Tech 1, Tech 2 untuk pre-com kan, BGF dan sebagainya. So use this opportunity. Kalau tak ada orang kata tak ada ruang, ada jalan dia. Pergi jumpa dengan orang yang betul, apply untuk commercialization grant kat situ. So bila you dapat commercialization grant tu, dia ada KPI yang you kena achieve. Research activity, dan secara tak langsung you akan buat benda tu. You akan fulfill that requirement. So in direct way, you akan nampak improvement of your stage tu, daripada R&D towards the commercialization, and then sampai kat situ you kena engage dengan orang luar, sebab you tak boleh stand alone. So engage dengan agensi ataupun marketing team yang betul-betul boleh direct your direction ke mana. Okay, business.
So maknanya hendak 1000 daya tak hendak 1000 dalih.
Betul.
So peluang banyak di luar sana. And ikan ada nanti Dr. Mariani Junior. Okay, Puan Dr. Wan Raihana, boleh tak mungkin share sedikit peluang-peluang yang ada yang mungkin boleh, yang mungkin tak tahu dalam kalangan banyak pensyarah? What are the opportunity that MTDC probably, or maybe if you know about other agencies, can provide to help the lecturers and of course generate income to the university?
Right, macam saya cakap tadi lah, banyak peluang sebenarnya available outside there. Let me start with MTDC. Kalau MTDC, there are basically two programs, funding programs which I manage, which are very much suitable for universities. Now, the first one is the National Technology and Innovation Sandbox Fund, NTIS. Okay, so NTIS program is for technologies or university R&D or any product whatsoever yang stage dia dah sampai TRL 6 and above. Alright, so that's the minimum criteria. You have to have TRL 6. So what funding will do is assist you by giving you funding from 250,000, 500,000 or even up to 4 million for commercialization to either do market validation, technology validation or commercialization activities. Okay, so idea there is that you have a technology, you have a prototype, for example, just coming out the lab, you know that it works, you know that there are potential customers, for example, you need funding to validate. Does the market really want it? So we will fund you, for example, pergi work with a specific customer, work with a specific, you need to provide your solution. So we will fund that. That is what we call market validation. Lepas tu technical validation in terms of katalah dekat lab boleh produce on a certain level. Now because you want to go commercialization, you want to upscale. So we can fund you for that as well to do that upscaling. Right? And the interesting thing about NTIS, or National Technology Innovation Sandbox fund, is that once you take our funding to do either the market validation, technology validation, kita bagi 6 bulan to do that. Katalah berjaya, you go through it and then you achieve all the KPIs, you've proven basically that the market is ready for your product, the market it wants it, and then you can meet the technical requirements for commercialization. Kita akan immediately follow on funding 4 million for commercialization activities. So at that moment, bolehlah nak beli equipment, nak beli production, nak hire staff, nak buat marketing and all that, boleh. Alright. The only catch dekat sini is that we don't fund researchers. Unfortunately, kita tak fund universities. We only fund companies. Alright. So if you're a researcher with a product, you will need to either start up your own spin-off or work with somebody to license your technology. So that's the only requirement. And that is not just MTDC. Kalau funding agency memang macam tu. Dia dah tak fund dah. Researchers, you need to have a companies, but the idea is kita nak fund that business, so you can ada that structure in place. So it's not just MTDC lah, alright. But kalau NTIS sebenarnya, you can apply as a researcher, you can go through the process and be accepted into the program, but at the moment nak apply funding, masa tu kena ada company. So you can start the process first without the company, or in tandem set up your company, work with your partners. Okay, so that's the funding that we have here specifically for researchers. The other one that I wanted to highlight is a very new program which we are working together with MOSTI. Yang ini baru saja announce dekat the last budget. InsyaAllah next year we will start funding this program. It's called My STI. So My STI is a program developed by MOSTI in collaboration with MOF, and the idea is kita nak galakkan government procurement. Government membeli produk-produk hasil R&D tempatan. So that is very important kan, because there's always this issue of we have so many researchers, so many products in the market, jual dekat public fine, jual overseas fine, tapi unfortunately government tak beli. That's very very true. And kita tengok banyak lah dekat MTDC, jual overseas barulah orang nak tengok dekat sini. Alright, so the idea is this is local R&D, local public funded R&D, so the government should give priority to buy. So the project is simple. If you have a technology which is ready, TRL9, cuma kena apply saja to get a logo. Dia macam logo halal, logo buat barang buatan Malaysia. So this is basically logo yang menandakan ini adalah barang R&D tempatan. Alright, so you can go through that process, get approved for the logo. And that, I think, is a very good selling point if you're doing your own commercialization, for one. But also, katalah you want to attract people to work with, to license your technology dan sebagainya. Because one of the key selling points under this program is, kalaulah produk tu ada CHOP, My STI tu, bila they go through the government procurement process, tender process dan sebagainya, the marking process dapat additional 10% marks. So that actually will help a lot. Okay, so next year, program penandaan logo tu dah start. You can apply at mysti.gov.my. But at the same time, for next year, kita akan ada funding as well. So if you have the logo, and you get a tender, but again, dapat tender daripada government, for example, you're a new company, tak cukup financial capability to supply, insyaAllah MTDC can help by funding you in terms of develop, to produce, to do whatever that requires for you to be able to supply to the government. And also in tandem with that, kita ada teams yang akan help to match your technology with the relevant ministries. Alright, so that's also another program. Apart from that, again, agencies yang lain memang banyak. Cradle, for example, they also fund very early stage technologies for commercialization and things like that. So you can explore, especially kalau you have technologies yang IT related apps, things which are very much digital economy dan sebagainya. Cradle is always very good to explore. If it's more of a hard science technology type of technology, then probably Cradle tak berapa suitable, then you can come to MTDC lah. Mostly again dengan dia punya TED1, TED2, sebenarnya memang banyak lah out there. You just have to know where to go and where to talk to. And again, if you don't know where to go, come to MTDC, talk to me, talk to my team. Kalau bukan dekat MTDC pun, insyaAllah we will push you or show you into the right direction to assist you.
Okay, great. Rupanya banyak di luar sana yang agensi kerajaan bantu jika kita ada benda lah, kan? Pergi cakap mulut, ILEO saja tak laku, but must come with something. Okay, Dato'. Last question. Kita ni dah nak di penghujung rancangan, kita pun tak break. Kamu rasa macam kopi sedang memanggil-manggil. Last question. I know that among our audience ni tak ada top management level, VC ke tak. Tapi success of an organisation, of course, it starts with who leads. We are always talking about entrepreneurial mindset among lecturers, entrepreneurial mindset among staff. What is your advice to the number one or number two, whoever at the organisation, in terms of entrepreneurial mindset, to be creative, to take the challenge that they should have done? Apa nasihat mantan VC kita ni kepada VC yang ada sekarang ni, or TNC yang ada sekarang ni? How should they cope with the challenge? How should they, be brave enough in order to sustain, especially when we talk about financial sustainability?
Susah.
Orang tak boleh buat apa dah, pencet dah.
Saya mungkin beza sikit lah pandangan saya tentang leadership. In fact, saya selalu judge my slide. Is no great leader if there is no great team. So great leader will come from a great team. Maknanya you recognize your team first. Then after that you can do a lot of things. Otherwise kalau dia rasa dia seorang yang pandai pun susah juga, especially dalam academic world. Kan dia rasa dia tahu semua, dia boleh handle semua, dan dia start tu mungkin tak pandang orang kan dan sebagainya. I think susah juga sebenarnya kan. So saya subscribe tu sebenarnya bila saya diberi tanggungjawab tu I have to do it. Saya sebenarnya bila saya ada satu formula, my own personal formula. Bila orang cakap pasal integrity, selalu orang cakap integrity ni is you tak abuse, you tak salah guna, you tak buat something yang against the principle, ethics. Saya extend my integrity ni to my credibility. I need to jaga saya punya maruah ni. I have maruah diri tau. Your leadership role, if you cannot carry your leadership role, you step down. Itu saya punya game. That's why saya 2-3 kali saya berdepan dengan keadaan di mana they challenge my principle. So I told them I can go back to my faculty because I got my job there. So maknanya you need to do something that will prove that you are credible. So that's my personal thinking on that. Okay, then you have to do it lah to make sure that people don't look down kat you orang tak rasa apalah MC ni tak buat kerja lain kan. So you have to do it to make sure people can trust you. So seperti saya kata tadi, as leader you kena provide all the facility. You have to facilitate, you have to empower, you have to provide platform to people to prosper. Bukan kita pulun untuk kita sendiri. Ada kan kita tengok dulu zaman saya dulu ada orang komplain, dekan ni dia kata dapat je duit, the first thing yang dia buat dengan duit ni this my for me. So that's not a good leader to me lah. So kita tak buat macam tu. Sebab tu saya contoh apa yang saya pernah buat. Ni jadi leadership pula lah kan. So then you have to sacrifice lah Dato'. Contoh masa saya manage 1 billion project 1 billion tau. So you can imagine how many trips I can go. Basically free trip because the trip is to check bahan lah, barang lah. Saya tak pergi satu pun trip. Bukan tak teringin, terliur kan orang pergi Switzerland lah, Jepun. But my principle was that at that time was I don't have any function to go there. I don't have any role to play. You send the technician pun lagi bagus. So that's the kind of orang kata apa sacrifice that we have to make lah. Kan? So leaders eat last. Kan? So saya subscribe to servant leadership. Siapa yang nak tengok my slide on servant leadership, saya bercakap dekat APM. Servant leadership basically you put yourself at the bottom. You serve people. You don't put yourself at the top. Then you know. So that's few saya punya principle. So tapi again kan senyum je tak jadi kerja kan Datuk. Kan kalau kata good leader ni asyik senyum kerja tak jalan juga. I'm very hard. Kan to get people to get things done. So dan of course wisdom lah kan, with all the wisdom yang kita gunakan sebaik yang boleh, tapi there is limit. Contoh kalau pencarah kan dia ada KPI dan sebagainya, there is limit. Kita very firm on contohnya bila kita nak sahkan jawatan, then people know lah kan, we are looking for the organisation, not for the individual. Kan any individual yang contribute pada organisation yes, tapi any individual yang tak membantu pada organisation, we will be very hard on them. Maknanya there is after you give them all the opportunity, provide them all the peluang-peluang untuk nak deliver. Kalau dia tak boleh juga, mana you are not maybe useful to, I mean not useful lah. Maybe you have other thing or other place that can accommodate you. So itu memang benda yang saya buat lah tu. So I don't know apa lagi rahsia saya semua tak tahu kan. Tapi basically maknanya kita buat kerja untuk universiti lah. So whatever we do, it's not for us kan. So itu je Datuk.
Ya, untuk mendapat keberkatan juga.
InsyaAllah.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you so much. Saya rasa just on time. Kita pun kiranya habis ni kita break and then for dinner tonight, siapa yang free boleh hadir. Saya nak conclude lah sebelum kita call off our ni, and then would like to thank, saya rasa memang banyak sangat perkongsian that benefit not only audience but also myself. Jadi I think I want everybody to know lah dalam keadaan sekarang, the challenge that we are facing is not just IPTA, not just IPTS, but the whole world is facing the same turmoil in terms of economic condition. University is reducing in terms of financial and so on. So we hope that the challenge is not being put only on the management but also must be filled by all the staff. So kita semua mempunyai tanggungjawab lah untuk sama-sama membantu organisasi supaya sustainable. Kita pun boleh kekal di situ sampai dipersarakan. Bukan bersara, dipersarakan. That is one. Second, when we talk about business acumen, when we talk about agile leadership, we are not just focusing on the role of the top management, but the role of us to be creative, to have the will, to be, kita dah buka ruang-ruang tu tadi. MTDC is willing to help. Kalaupun di MTDC tak ada ruang, dia boleh tolong tap dengan agensi lain. So, be creative, have the will, and let's do together to help our organisation. And thirdly, saya suka dengar Dr. Mariani sebut pasal organize, structure, so plan dan sebagainya. So you have to start organize, structure, plan your whatever you like, whatever your future endeavours. Sebab orang tak ada lah kata berjaya dengan cacar merbah. Everything has to be planned, structured and so on. And then lastly is that love yourself, love your organisation, love your work. Daripada situlah ada barakah dan kita akan buat dengan ikhlas dan sincerity. So, boleh tengok dah kejayaan tu adalah coming from your passion, and what you are doing is because you love what you are doing. And then networking and collaboration. Why we are here today, why AKEPT is putting this program as one of the important platforms, is actually not just for you to earn or learn or get knowledge, but to network. So, tidak ada kejayaan in isolation. Semua kejayaan adalah daripada sekepakatan. So, I think that is one thing yang being shared. So, saya rasa itu saja dan saya ingin ucapkan terima kasih sekali lagi kepada semua ahli panel. Thank you Datuk kerana bersudi menerima jemputan kami. Begitu juga dengan Dr. Wan Raihana dan Dr. Mariani. Dan saya harap tak lupa juga kepada AKEPT kerana percaya kepada saya dan UMK untuk mengelolakan program ini. So with that, thank you so much. Let's give a big applause to our panel. Dan juga kepada semua yang ada, harap ilmu yang dikongsikan memberi manfaat pada semua. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you to our panelists and moderator for today's forum. As a token of appreciation, I would like to invite Mr. Azrul Izham, Deputy Director of AKEPT, to present honorary gift to our panelists as well as our moderators this evening. Please welcome Datuk Prof. Wahid bin Omar. Next, Dr. Wan Raihana. Please welcome Dr. Mariani. And last but not least, Prof. Dr. Nik Mahiran. Thank you. Okay, as we near the end of today's program, to conclude today's program, I would like to invite Mr. Azrul Izham Hamzah, Deputy Director of AKEPT, to deliver his closing speech. Please welcome.
Okay, terima kasih saudara pengacara majlis. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Hi again. Jangan jelik tengok muka saya 2 kali naik petang hari ini. Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Nik Mahiran binti Nik Muhammad, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and International of Universiti Malaysia Kelantan, barisan panelis kita, yang bahagia Profesor Datuk IR Dr. Wahid bin Omar, Profesional Amal Bakti UTM, yang berusaha Dr. Wan Raihana binti Wan Asim, VP of Technology Venture Fund of MTDC, dan yang berusaha Dr. Mariani Abdul Hamid, our pemenang anugerah inovasi dan pengkomersialan produk anugerah akademik negara. Tuan-tuan puan-puan, rakan-rakan sektor pendidikan tinggi. Hadirin dan hadirat sekalian, jaringan kolaborasi AKEPT dan UMK pada hari ini adalah satu, kalau bahasa retorik je, satu manifestasi lah yang merupakan komitmen kita untuk mempertabatkan kualiti dan mutu pendidikan tinggi dalam negara kita, right? And please sama-sama kita berikan satu tepukan untuk urustia kita dari UMK dan AKEPT. Terima kasih Profesor Datuk Dr. Nik Mahiran sebab merealisasikan program kita pada hari ini. Tema yang dipilih Business Acumen in Higher Education. Alhamdulillah, Allah permudahkan urusan kita pada hari ini. Semua survive sampai hari ini, tak ada yang jihad di tengah jalan. Walaupun petang tadi saya duduk kat belakang sana, saya perhati kat Dewan masa ada jugalah yang cuba bertafakur dan berzikir. Alhamdulillah lah, suasana dia agak kondusif kan. Kat luar mendung, kat dalam sejuk aircon, tu dengan kursi empuk. So jadi saya tak salahkan tuan-tuan perempuan berzikir kat belakang. And I would rather say business acumen ni kira is very essential knowledge and skill set that we need to have in facing the new challenges, right? In our higher education sector. It's not just limited to income generation for universities, but it also can be deemed as essential survival skill of the future, right? When we discuss about business acumen today, we heard our speakers daripada pagi ada menyatakan bahawa it's not about managing operational finances. Bukan kata duit masuk, duit keluar. In fact, petang tadi pun Datuk ada sebut, bendahari is no longer a traditional way of doing business, tengok duit keluar masuk. And we can see that commercialization from potential programs such as research, executive and professional certification, industrial collaboration are some of the suggested initiative that can be moved forward. And it's not limited to how university can generate income. And as we can see pagi tadi pun kita ada few representative students ikut apa kata pensyarah mereka dari UM, Profesor Jaweda yang bawa student dia pagi tadi. And we can see that some of the concern from the student is how can they explore further on entrepreneurship. So again, pagi tadi pun kita ada dengar yang mana our speakers, both Datuk Ansari and also Datuk Azizi ada cakap, when talk about entrepreneurship, it is important for us to grasp the not only the technical knowledge of it, but the soft skill of part of it. Communicate, cara nak tulis apa kata research proposal. Tak boleh lah macam nak tulis research proposal thesis kan. Business proposal is totally different skill on apa kata yang kita perlukan, kemahiran yang kita perlukan. So hopefully dengan adanya program sebegini, kita sama-sama dapat tap pengetahuan dan pengalaman panelis dan juga speakers kita pada hari ini. Hadirin dan hadirat sekalian, as we can see, IPT memang main peranan penting dalam bukan sahaja melayani keperluan pelajar, majikan, komuniti dan masyarakat, tapi dalam persekitaran kita hari ini yang semakin mencabar, kita tengok there are lots of mega trends, perubahan landscape politik, perubahan sosioekonomi, dan it is part of our duty di AKEPT untuk mempersiap tuan-tuan puan-puan sebagai bakal pemimpin masa hadapan di universiti awam dan swasta with this type of knowledge dan juga pengetahuan. Pihak AKEPT, for us, kita sentiasa menyambut aspirasi dan hasrat kerajaan. Whoever rules government of the day we uphold the current policy, and untuk membangunkan kepimpinan di peringkat IPT ataupun IPTS, we have to equip the leaders of the universities with such knowledge. And as mentioned pagi tadi, AKEPT adalah rumah kita. So jangan segan, jangan malu, datanglah ke AKEPT. Janganlah tunggu sampai bertanya kepada kami, bila AKEPT nak panggil kami khusus lagi. So macam saya dah promote pagi tadi, follow lah. Like lah kita punya social media AKEPT through Facebook, Instagram dan YouTube for now, supaya dapat update terkini. So whatever program yang ditawarkan pada AKEPT, kalau tak boleh hadir secara fizikal, please join us through virtual. So I know our participant out there yang sedang menonton melalui Facebook Live, hopefully mereka pun menerima manfaat yang sama seperti mana kita ada kat sini. Tapi berbeza dengan tuan-tuan puan-puan dekat sini, you have the direct access to the speakers and the resource person untuk bertanya soalan tu direct. Dia punya impact dia mungkin berbeza sikit. And sesi perkongsian amalan terbaik seperti ini, kita boleh teruskan dan ia adalah sentiasa mendapat perhatian kepada kita. Kita bukan nak compete sesama universiti. Kita datang hari ini untuk berkongsi pengalaman, pengetahuan, even macam disebutkan oleh Profesor Datuk Nik Maheran tadi pun, we are here to network, exchange business card, exchange knowledge, because siapa yang datang hari ini adalah mereka yang terlibat secara langsung dengan program entrepreneur di universiti masing-masing. So get this opportunity right. Hadirin hadirat, jam menunjukkan 4.32 petang. Sekali lagi saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua pihak yang terlibat, pihak urustia, pihak teknikal ke atas sana, dan special mention to tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang hadir ke program kita pada hari ini. Okay. Sekalung tahniah sekali lagi kepada semua peserta. Semoga perkongsian amalan terbaik yang ini dapat dimanfaatkan dan seterusnya dapat diterjemahkan di peringkat institusi masing-masing. Sekian, wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Thank you to Mr. Azrul, Deputy Director of AKEPT. Before we end our program today, the organizing committee would like all participants to scan the feedback form.
Sijil hanya diberikan pada mereka memberikan maklumat.
We would like also to invite all participants to have a refreshment after this at the dining hall. So once again, thank you to all participants, guests, panelists, and keynote speakers. For our last session, we would like to invite all participants together with our panelists to have a group photo session. Yes, at the center. Please, all participants, let us photo session together. Okay. Thank you everyone. Safe travel.